Okay, so the consultation period actually started this week, and as you can imagine, the battle lines are already being drawn across Welsh Rugby. First of all, we had the Scarlets councillors come out and say how detrimental it would be to the area if they were to lose top class rugby in that area, which is fair enough. And then the Dragons then a day or two ago came out with a really quite strong statement, and I think it kind of signalled their intent. To me, it kind of means like the other regions are going to kind of have to follow suit here. So it is quite a lengthy statement. I'm not going to go through it all, but I'll hit on most of it. Okay, so I'll just have to read it. It says, quote, "We are committed to securing a positive future for Welsh rugby and to elite rugby continuing in Gwent, but there is no way we can agree on the proposal as they currently are. Welsh rugby deserves better, and I think the WRU must rethink," end quote. So that's obviously showing that they're not happy with whatever the conversations have been going on. I mean, we didn't expect anything other than this, did we? Let's be honest. But for them to come out quite so firm straight away and be like, nah, we're not into this, you're going to have to go back and think about it. It gives quite a strong pushback to the union. Dragons were the ones who actually were willing to sign the PRA before all this started kicking off, and they probably thought like by doing that they'd secure their future into the next like 2 to 5 years. So to now this get dropped on them, and what they've obviously been seeing during this consultation period, it looks like it's not going to continue. The West Wales teams are almost certainly going to take a similar stance to this. Depending on which team, one might be stronger than the other. It'll be interesting once their statements come out to see how they worded, and if they word it similar to the Dragons. Then it goes on then, because now there's been more time to actually look in and dig into this 90-page document. There is a lot of, to be honest, fluff and rubbish in there, and some things, and quite a lot, is contradictory to other things that they've talked about, which is quite frustrating. So, going into this consultation, they're going to be going up against savvy business people with strong legal representation, and they're going to be able to pick these things apart if you haven't crossed your T's and dotted your I's. This kind of goes on to then another part of the statement that the Dragons put out. It says, quote, "The Dragons is a stable, sustainable run club. Having signed the WRU's professional rugby agreement earlier this year, we have financial stability, and a clear plan to drive improvements in the on-field performance. Our confidence in our position has been reaffirmed by advice from our expert, global recognized legal consultant," which is just like mic drop, and saying like, we're ready with the lawyers if this doesn't go the way we expect it or want it to go, which is bad for everyone. And I guarantee that nobody wants this, but this is where the regions are feeling they're getting backed into. How are they going to square this circle? I don't know. If the union do try and bully their way through and just say, I don't care what anyone says, we're going with 2, I think there's almost certainly going to be legal action. And also, there is still dependency on benefactors. And all the people who have put in money in Welsh Rugby right now, if you change and get rid of their club, they are not going to be putting their money in. So you're going to be losing all of those benefactors if you just don't concede anything and just go through like a bull to your decision that you want. So that's really got to come into consideration also. And it ultimately has all got to be passed by the WRU board. This is what the 3 main people wanted: Reddin, Collier-Keywood and Turney. But they've actually got to get this passed by the WRU board, who are almost certainly, most of, if not all, going to have interests within a or multiple regions, and going to have friends in high places within those regions. So if they're not happy, then they can actually say, we're not willing to pass whatever plan you come up with. So the more that the regions push back, the more difficult it is going to be for the union to get this through, and it's going to be difficult enough as it is. So, and before I finish, I just wanted to touch on the survey that the union put out to just the general public to give your thoughts. I did it, and to be honest, a load of rubbish. I don't want to put anyone else off doing it. If you're thinking of doing it, do it, because it's beneficial to put your point across. But basically, all the questions are leading. There's very little substance to it. Everything was kind of like, do you think Wales are successful on the pitch at the moment? Do you think the regions are successful? It was all like sort of pointing you to, you can't say that they are. So it was all like you're pointing to the answers that they want you to give. Very little nuance. And the sneakiest part of all is, the biggest question is, what plan are they going to go for? You don't get to pick one. It doesn't give you what option do you prefer out of A, B, C or D or D plus. It doesn't give you that, because they know they won't get the answer they want, which is D plus or D. So very sly from the union. And this is just going to rumble on and just keep getting more and more of a mess, I think. But let me know what you think. I've gone on for too long. I will catch you on the next one.